I don't think anyone's ever questioned his talent.
Oh, come on. Anyone that questions his talent or his fight IQ or the way he can absolutely change a fight at any time, the guy he's special. He is special. There's never been anyone it's because it's a combination. In my opinion, it's a combination, Josh, because a lot of guys. I know a lot of guys. They're just God-given talent. God made them a certain way. They had speed. They had the ability to have power. They had all these things going for them, but they always lacked somewhere. Mentality-wise, they just weren't mentally strong or whatever it was.
Work ethic.
Work ethic. Look, and let's be honest. As far as fight IQ, tell me he doesn't have a good fight IQ.
Brilliant.
Tell me he doesn't have physical attributes that nobody else had at 205. And, it might be a little bit different now at heavyweight, but an 84-inch reach. Stefan Struve was 7 foot tall and had an 81-inch reach. Okay? I mean, there's just certain things about him. He had just physical attributes that you look and you go, wow, incredible. He's very strong, even though, a lot of people don't give him credit for it. Physically, he's very strong. He's got long levers that makes it to where he can do things. He's a good wrestler. He's got good stand-up. He's slick with his stand-up at times. May not have the biggest power. We're going to see if it translates to heavyweight because, Dan Cormier didn't have the greatest power as a light heavyweight, but he had really good power as a heavyweight. It just translated better for him. We're going to see if that happens for Jon. There's no doubt, what he's done in MMA is incredible. I mean, I want to say what is it they said? I saw a number. It was either his last 12 years. The only thing he's fought is championship fights.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Do we not give Chris Cyborg the same amount of credit? I mean, she for years was undefeated, or not undefeated, but for years, all she did was fight championship fights.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
is she not considered one of the best female fighters of all time?
She is. No, she absolutely is. I mean, I'm just simply saying, they both got caught up in.
They both got caught.
Yeah, they both got caught.
Both made a mistake.
Both extremely talented. I think one in the female division is one of the most dominant female fighters, if not the most dominant ever. And then Jon Jones being probably the most dominant in the male division. I mean, I'm not trying to compare the two in terms of longevity and that, but I look at Khabib being the most dominant fighter in the cage. Jon being, I don't even know how to put it. He wasn't the most dominant, but he had won.
Not throughout all of his fights.
No, not throughout all his fights. And we found that mainly at the end of his career.
Well, and a lot of it, you take a look and, how many times do we talk about it, Josh? As a champion, it's tough to get up every time because you've got that target on your back. It's hard for you to take that target and find something that actually gets you excited because your promotion is always going in, okay, this is the next one. Here's your next one. Here's your next one. And it doesn't mean that you're excited to fight that person. There could be, someone out there that you go, yeah, that really excites me. And you get up for it. But most of them, you're like, yeah, I could care less really. I don't think he's as good as me. And so as soon as you start saying he doesn't present a lot of problems for me, well, where's your motivation come from? So that makes it difficult. Yeah. And again, that goes back to what I just said. 12 years of championship fights.
That's a long time.
Fuck yes.
And you look at the guys that he has had to fight along the way. I mean, some of them being legends. Shogun Hua, Machida. You got the list of fighters that are just.
See, and I think all those guys, when you're talking, he obviously won the title from Shogun, but the Lyoto Machida fight, I think that got him excited. Yeah. I think that was one that he trained his ass off for, and he was excited about fighting someone like Lyoto Machida.
Well, he lost that first round against him.
Yeah.
Lyoto did what Lyoto does and flustered the shit out of him. Finally, Jon grabbed him and said, "Come here, son."
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Pressed him to the fence and said, "Give me that."
They hit him with a shot, and Lyoto went, "Uh-oh,
yeah,
that hurt." and then it was downhill from there. But I mean, there's no matter what anyone says, it comes up. He's got a record of 26-1. He didn't lose that fight. That was done poorly as far as the regulatory, body did not handle that from the official to the commission. They didn't handle that right because Matt Hamill, who he has that loss against, yes, if you want to say that John fouled him, okay. But that fight stopped based upon a separated shoulder by Matt Hamill. It wasn't because he was hurt by the elbow, the illegal elbow that was called. That had nothing to do with why Matt Hamill couldn't go on in the fight. He had a separated shoulder from Jon Jones throwing him on his goddamn ass, with a takedown, and he separated his shoulder from it, and that's why the fight could go. So that was a legally done technique that caused an injury that made it to where, I can't go on because my shoulder's separated. Okay, but I'm not going to DQ somebody because it wasn't the blows that he threw. If you want to say they were illegal, that's not what stopped the fight. So it's just a ridiculous, loss.
Are we at an era now though where most people feel that unless you have held 2 titles in different weight classes, that you're not considered the greatest of all time?
Well, I think that you have it's like judging a fight. We talk about power or we talk about volume. And you take a look at Jon Jones. Well, obviously, volume-wise, no one has had more championship fights than him. Mm-hmm. So he's got that in the bag. But if you're going to take a look and say, Georges St. Pierre has 2 championships in different weight classes. Mm-hmm. He's got the welterweight. He's got the middleweight. All right. So that kind of separates him in the fact that he was willing to move weight classes and was successful in doing so. Yeah. That's what John's doing now. He's attempting to move weight classes. I give him credit for the way that he's done it. He's taken his time. He hasn't rushed into it. And I do think that there's going to be people, if he loses, there will be people that say, nah, he's not, he's not the best fighter ever. I'm not too sure that I agree with that. You got to take a look at, his body of work and everything. And you got to say, overall, with the amount of championship fights and what he's done, it's hard to name someone better.
If we're putting them all into one category, if we're putting the ones that have been busted, the ones that are not been busted, the ones, you put them all into one, just say fighters, period. Yeah, I'd be hard pressed not to say he's not the best.
If you want to put an asterisk, the Roger Maris asterisk of, Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 154 games, and it took Maris, 162 to beat it. Okay, put the asterisk. I don't care. But if you're going to just take a look and say fighter, it's hard. You're hard pressed to find someone ever better.
John, do you think I look at Jon Jones in a bunch of different ways.
That's because he's worn a whole lot of different hats and different characters.
That's the problem. That is really the problem. And I think Francis Ngannou, I just read a tweet or a comment that he had made saying John is got multiple personalities. It's like, which one is he going to be today?
Each one of them can fight, though.
Yeah, he's going to be the world class. He's going to be the world class fighter. Is he going to be the person, wrecking his car? Is he going to be whatever else? But at the end of the day, he is hands down probably the best fighter that's ever stepped foot in the cage.
Yeah.
Does it not bother you though, just to see somebody that has so much God-given talent and could have been
squander a lot of it?
Well, did he squander any of it? He could have
done. This is where he squandered. I'm not saying achievement-wise. Look, he's done it all. He's got the ability to win the heavyweight championship, but still achievement-wise and who he fought throughout time and the way he did things, he's done all that. But you cannot sit there and tell me that years from now, he, you, me, are all not going to sit there and say what could have been also. Even though as great as he was, think of the time that was squandered. Because if there's one thing, I talk about all the time, I've talked about it, there's nothing more precious than time. Mm-hmm. And it's so valuable, and you learn that especially once it's gone, because you can't get it back. And so 3 years of time, 3 years, with 2 years with the suspensions, things like that. How much time was squandered? How much more could Jon possibly have accomplished if that time wasn't, used the way it ended up being used?
100% agree.